Florence is celebrated as the cradle of the Renaissance, but beneath the art, it served as the headquarters for a heavily surveilled political empire. While modern history often remembers the Medici as benevolent patrons of the arts, the family functioned as a high-stakes political dynasty that maintained its position through calculated control. They etched their crest into the very stones of the city. To hold off wealthy rivals and internal dissent, the Medici projected an image of absolute, untouchable authority. Because rival families were constantly looking for any sign of vulnerability to incite a coup, a public stain on the Medici name was a threat to their physical grip on Florence. In this climate, the family's collective reputation was valued above the life of any individual. Leonora di Toledo was a high-ranking Spanish-Italian noblewoman raised within the Florentine court. Her lineage made her a valuable political asset, providing the Medici a direct link to the Spanish crown. In 1571, the 15-year-old Leonora was married to her cousin, Pietro de' Medici. He was the youngest son of the Grand Duke, and he already carried a violent historical reputation for instability. The marriage was a disaster. Pietro was openly unfaithful with courtesans and frequently insulted Leonora in public, effectively abandoning her within the palace. Isolated in a hostile court, Leonora sought companionship in the city's literary circles. She eventually began a clandestine romance with the nobleman and poet Bernardino Antinori. In a city where the Medici surveillance network monitored every high-ranking household, this affair was a death sentence. To the Grand Duke, a wife's infidelity was not a private matter. It was a form of political treason. The secret held until an unrelated brawl forced the lovers apart. Antinori killed a rival courtier in the streets of Florence, and despite claiming self-defense, was arrested and exiled to the island of Elba. While in exile, Antinori committed a fatal lapse in judgment. He continued to write passionate love letters and attempted to smuggle them back to Leonora in Florence. The letters never reached her. The Medici surveillance network intercepted the correspondence, providing the government with written evidence of the affair. Investigators eventually discovered more letters hidden within the hollow leg of Leonora's footstool. This physical evidence transformed court rumors into a documented crisis for the dynasty. These papers turned a private romance into an act of documented treason against the Medici line, forcing the hand of the ruling Grand Duke. When Grand Duke Francesco received the evidence, his primary concern was the political fallout. The affair threatened the stability of their alliance with Spain, a cornerstone of Medici foreign policy. Francesco issued a swift administrative order. On June 20, 1576, Antinori was secretly brought back to Florence and strangled to death in his prison cell. Next, the family turned to Leonora. Pietro summoned his 23-year-old wife to the Villa di Cafaggiolo, a remote country retreat far from the public eye. Following dinner, Pietro attacked and strangled Leonora. Historical records indicate he used a leather dog leash to carry out the killing. The Medici rulers viewed these killings as a calculated administrative action. By removing both Antinori and Leonora, they efficiently erased a political liability that had threatened the family's international standing. To protect the family image, the Medici immediately claimed that Leonora had died of a sudden, unexpected heart attack. The Spanish court was not convinced. Leonora's father was a powerful naval commander, and her family refused to accept the heart attack explanation for a healthy young woman. Spain exerted massive diplomatic pressure on Florence, threatening the very military and political alliances that kept the Medici in power. As the Spanish court's suspicion grew, the crucial international alliance between the two powers began to fracture. The Medici realized that this internal murder had created an external vulnerability. If the Spanish crown remained hostile, the dynasty's rule over Florence was in jeopardy. Grand Duke Francesco initiated a legal maneuver to satisfy Spain. He decided to admit to the killing, but only if he could frame it as justifiable under the laws of the era. He sent a secret confession to King Philip II, stating Pietro had taken Leonora's life for treason and behavior unbecoming of a noble lady. By relabeling the murder as an honor killing, the Medici gave the Spanish king a way to accept the death without demanding a trial. The justification allowed both powers to preserve the political status quo. Pietro was never prosecuted. He was simply sent to Spain in a comfortable, soft exile to live out his days, while the scandal was allowed to fade. Leonora's shift from a high-status political asset to disposable collateral was complete. Her story demonstrates how absolute power maintains itself, by utilizing murder as an administrative tool and then using the concept of honor to mask the crime.